Welcome to the Reddit Chronicles. Today we will be reading from Am I the Jerk? Our first post is by Would I Be the Jerk Surgery. Would I be the jerk if I refused to pay for my daughter's college for making fun of my stepson's injury and condition? I, 44M, am a widow of a previous marriage, and so is my wife, 42F. She has a son, 19M, from her previous marriage, and I have a daughter, 17F, as well. We dated for roughly 5 years before being married for 3 years now, and our kids have known each other since the beginning. No major fights or weirdness besides getting to know someone else as a parent or guardian. My son was a tremendous athlete in basketball, and I used to play in college at a school I'm sure none of you heard of. Regardless, I know the ins and outs of basketball, and when he asked me to coach him, I was more than happy to. Turns out that he was good, really good. Division I good. My wife is a controller and I'm a pharmacist. Together, we make a very, very comfortable living, but are not rich. So when my son was getting scholarship offers for basketball, I realized we could pay for my daughter's college in full, and neither of them would have any student loan debt when they graduate. A plan that I shared with my daughter, which I think was a mistake to begin with. These plans changed when my son tried riding on someone else's motorcycle with their permission, but with zero training, and got badly injured on an ensuing crash. He lost part of his hand and foot, not life-threatening, but basketball ending. This happened last year, and my son has been in a deep depression that we're desperately trying to bring him out of, but he feels like his entire identity got ripped away in the blink of an eye. He's been in counseling and prescribed medication, but it has not helped thus far. Recently, he confided in me that the pills he's on have unfortunate side effects with his libido to virtually zero interest and wants to stop them. I told him the important thing is that he's with us, but he can bring that up with his doctor next visit. Fast forward about 2 weeks. I'm upstairs looking for something in my room, and I heard my daughter talking to her friends on her phone about college. The conversation turned towards her brother, and she said she can't wait to be gone. That she's tired of hearing her brother cry every day, and saying his hand is gross. I knew spirits in the house has shifted since he became injured, but I didn't think she felt this type of way. I was gonna talk to her later about this, but then I heard him say that he can't even get it up while laughing. At that, I was furious. I stormed in her room, took her phone, laptop, car keys, and TV out of her room. I told her she should be ashamed of how she's talking about her brother, and he might do something permanent if he heard her talking about him like that. When my wife got home, we talked about what happened, and while she's proud of the way I stood up for my son, she thinks it's too far to also not pay for her college, since we could easily do so. Would I be the jerk if I don't pay for my daughter's college? Edit. Fairly unanimous that this would be too far, and I think I knew that, but I just can't calm down. Maybe I'm stunned that it was my own daughter saying it, but it's rare that I harbor something like this. Also, many comments hinting that I'm alienating or neglecting my daughter are completely unfounded. The post was about my son's condition, so I talked about my son. Maybe my daughter feels less important or neglected, I can understand that, but it's certainly not because of a lack of attention or love. Our next post is by OK Addendum. Am I the jerk for telling my daughter that she made it clear she has no mother and having a long list she must do to move back in? I will keep the background short. I divorced my ex-husband when my daughter Maria was 10. I got the house but was a stay-at-home mom, so I had trouble making ends meet. So lots of budgeting after I got a job in my field again. My ex didn't have this problem and could spoil her. He spoiled her rotten, and it really affected our relationship. I would tell her I can't afford to get her a $1,000 laptop, and it would cause a huge argument about how dad is better. Tried to get her a job, argument happened. When she was 17, she decided to drop out from high school. I told her no. She told me it was her life and she can do what she wants. Another argument, and she left to live with dad permanently. I tried to contact her multiple times, but she told me I wasn't her mother anymore, and leave her alone. She is now 21 and her dad has gotten remarried and basically kicked her out. She called me and we met up. She wants to move back in and I told her only under these conditions. 1. She needs to get her GED. 2. She needs to be working a job at least 25 plus hours a week. 3. She needs to be looking into what her career will be and either go to a trade school or college. 4. She won't need to pay rent but needs to buy her own stuff like clothes and personal items. 5. She needs to contribute to the shared areas, chores. She would refuse to do them as a kid. And finally, no partying lifestyle. She needs to focus on getting her life together, not going out every night like she used to do. Save it for the weekend. She called me a crazy jerk and that I am a crap mother. I informed her that she made it clear she has no mother. She stormed out and I am getting texts. Our next post is by Capable Emergency. Am I the jerk for not telling my boyfriend I own the building we live in? When I was 18, my dad gifted me a house with 2 stories. I am extremely thankful. We are not upper class, but my dad bought this house for a cheap price a long time ago. It was his grandmother's cousin's house. I know that this was an extreme privilege, and I am forever grateful for this. The layout of this building is like an apartment, but it is a house. So basically, each story has its own separate entry, its own kitchen and bathroom. I live upstairs while I rent out the downstairs. My boyfriend 25M moved in with me about 3 months ago, and we have been together for 6 months. I have not asked him for money, neither for utilities or to pay me any rent. The only thing he contributes to is groceries that we split 50-50. I have not brought up that I own the building, as it is not something I tell many people. If people ask me, I of course tell them that I own it, but if they just assume I am a renter, then they can believe that. The topic of a landlord, the renter downstairs, or the owner of the building has not been something we have talked about. This last Tuesday, the renter came up to tell me that her freezer has stopped working. I answered the door, and my boyfriend heard us talking, I suppose. I went downstairs to take a look, and we came to the conclusion that she would buy a new one, send me the receipt, and I would give her the money. She was very grateful for this solution. When I went upstairs, my boyfriend asked if it could be fixed. I told him no, but she was going to buy a new one, and I would pay for it. He looked at me like I was crazy and asked me why the hell I would pay for her freezer. I told him that because I am her landlord and the freezer was there when she started renting, I would stand for the cost. He just asked me if I was serious, to which I said I was. He began screaming at me, asking him why the hell I would hold this information from him and that I was an evil person. I said I was sorry for not telling him, but I did not think that it would matter. He said he could not believe he was together with someone who is a landlord, that all of us just use people for money, and that the only thing we people care about is money, and would rather have people be homeless than offering affordable rent. The downstairs is 1 kitchen, 1 bath, and 4 other rooms. I charge $500 in rent. I understand many people have had trouble with landlords, but I try my best to be a good one. He demanded that I give him 50% of the money I make from rent, or else I was just as bad as he thought. Was I really the jerk for not telling him? He has not talked to me since Tuesday, and I have tried telling him that I am truly sorry, but he doesn't answer me at all. Edit. Obligatory edit to add that I certainly did not expect this to blow up the way it did. I have tried to read as much as I can. Thank you all for your advice and support. I have talked with him, and I will update later tonight when I have time to process everything that went down and try to write it out as best as I can. For the people who was worried about my safety, I called my dad who was sat outside in his car when I talked with my boyfriend, and I am safe as of right now and hope it will continue that way. Thanks yet again to everyone. Edit 2. Update posted. Sorry for the rushed update and weird writing. It is explained in my update as to why. Thanks yet again. Update. This is going to be extremely rushed, lack details, and maybe not be so clear. I apologize for that, and I tried my best writing out everything as clearly with as much detail as I could. Sorry if it feels a bit anticlimactic reading it due to the style of how I wrote it. I tried. Before we get on with the update, I just want to give some answers to frequently asked questions and some claims I have seen. Also would like to note that I am not in the US. I read as much as I possibly could, and after thinking about this, also about previous stuff I just brushed off, I decided I would break up with him. It may seem like an impulsive decision, but after everything, I felt that the sooner, the better it would be. I texted my dad and explained a bit off it all to him. I asked him if he would be willing driving to my place and sit in the driveway when I was going to talk with my boyfriend, and he without hesitation said yes. I thought about what I would tell him and how I would lay it out. I was extremely nervous about how it would go, and not going to lie, I was scared after all the people telling me I should be careful and that he may try to hurt me. When I got home, he was already there. I just greeted him, and he of course said nothing. I texted my dad got here, and I sat down on the couch besides my boyfriend. He did not know my dad was here. I can't recall the exact details of the conversation, as my mind tends to blank out in stressful situations, but I will try my best to recite it. Me. I think we need to have a talk with each other if this relationship is going to work. Him. So you are ready to apologize. Me. I will apologize for not telling you that you lived in my building, which I have apologized for many times already. I will not apologize for not giving you a part of my income. Him. And why is that such a big deal to you? If you don't rent out for the purpose of taking people's money, you should have no problem giving any of that money away. Me. I really try to understand how you think. You think I am in it for the money, and think I am a bad person for renting out the downstairs complex, but yet you want money from it. Don't you understand that it seems like you are just in it for the money? I rent out the downstairs for $500 if you really believe all landlords are money grabbers and not good people. Would you like me to donate half of it to charities specifically for housing? Around here is where the calm, collected, and fine conversation ended. My memory from all of this is still all around the place. The gist of it is him telling me I was crazy for even thinking he wanted anything to do with the money for selfish reasons, that I should just trust what he says. He said he regret ever meeting me, that he would make sure all my friends knew how I really was. He said that we were through. He threw my keys at me. He tried punching a hole in the wall, unsuccessfully. By this time, I had already texted my dad, who came in to see what he was doing. My boyfriend just laughed and told us both he never wants to see us again, and that he was out. I know this is extremely rushed, but it all just happened so fast and was incredibly stressful. It was much more said and much more done. But in all honesty, I don't really have the best recollection of everything. I tried to write out all the important stuff, and if I in a few days have managed to take care of my emotions and calm myself down, I will try to at least comment and answer questions if any of you all have any for me. The conversation I tried to recite seems very cold and emotionless. In reality, it was more emotions and other words. I just tried writing it out as best as I could. However, I am safe. He can't come in here because he threw his key at me, so he don't have it anymore. He is now my ex-boyfriend, and I will contact him in some time asking about when he would be able to pick up his stuff. I don't know where he is staying. Neither do I really care. Thank you for listening to the Reddit Chronicles. Follow for more content.